and welcome to Around Town. I'm Councilmember Lori Donchak, and tonight I am so pleased to be featuring the official inaugural launch of a unique nonprofit called San Clemente PierPride. Stay tuned until the very end because we have an exciting evening in store. We all have a story of something special, personal, and fabulous that's happened at the San Clemente Pier, such as, who can forget Angel the Pelican? Or what about that young military family who poses at a specific time for the city's pier webcam so that their soldier in Afghanistan can see them? What about the wedding proposals? What about the junior lifeguard pier plunges? And who can forget that unforgettable chowder when the chowder competition rolls around each year? Our city does a great job maintaining and protecting the pier. With over 2 million annual visits, there's no question that our pier, built in 1928, is the most iconic destination in San Clemente. For all of us residents, it's part of our daily lives. It's a treasure and it deserves to be the best it can be. This is why the PierPride Foundation has been formed. PierPride members are working in partnership with the city and key community stakeholders to fill the gaps between city funds and the pier's needs to restore it to the best version of its historic self. Very importantly, PierPride is a subsidiary of the Friends of San Clemente Foundation. These are the folks that were founded over a decade ago to bring all sorts of recreational and capital improvements to our city. So now let's speak with some of the key people involved, as well as some of the sponsors who have stepped up immediately, recognizing what a great cause this is for our small town. I'm here with Kelly Finney, who is one of the founding board members of the PierPride Foundation, and Kelly has the daunting responsibility of organizing the happening that'll be happening after sunset. So Kelly, what's going to be happening tonight?
Well, tonight we've invited the entire San Clemente High School student body down to the San Clemente Pier, and they've been asked to line the rails and on a signal from the CASA, raise and illuminate their cell phones, where we'll have drone above the pier to capture the footage, and hopefully it'll turn out really well, and we'll have prints available for sponsors, for possibly their yearbook. And I just want to give a shout out to Principal Carter and the activity director Matthew Reed over at the high school for making all of this possible.
I'm here with Peggy Vance, who is the president of the San Clemente Friends. And as you can tell, everyone is helping to make the PierPride effort a success. And Peggy was kind enough to step up and allow the foundation to step in and help PierPride launch as fast as it did. So Peggy, tell me why this is a perfect fit for your foundation.
PierPride is an important partner with us because it fits in with our Parks and Recreation goals. It's one of the landmarks in San Clemente that many people come to, and we cherish it and want to protect it and support it.
And you've lived in San Clemente for many, many, many years. What's your favorite part of the pier?
Where we're standing is one of my favorites, but I also like to go to the end and watch for dolphins and watch the sunset.
John, when the foundation was in its early stages, you were the one that stepped up and identified what the needs were on the pier. What are some of the things that the foundation hopes to accomplish with its fundraising?
Well, the short-term goals are pretty much aimed at addressing the immediate needs, and specifically the needs that the pier needs right now have to do with corrosion protection and the updating of the bait tables, the timbers that are damaged, the bathrooms that are in disrepair, that sort of thing.
Okay. And I know on your list you had things like garbage cans, you had the interpretive signs, and then of course you had painting. And do you want to talk a little bit about what's required to keep the painting up to date?
Sure. The painting is probably the single most important aspect of pier longevity, at least the portions of the pier that are above and out of the water. Just putting regular paint on it may look nice for a fairly short period of time, but over greater than about 6 months, the paint just won't last. Since we lost the grant in the early 2000s to maintain the pier, the maintenance has basically just been painting. What the pier needs now is it needs to have the existing above ground structures that are coated with paint stripped down to bare wood, primered with a quality marine grade, not paint, but a marine grade type coating. And then after the coating is applied, then apply a high quality, high density paint that will ensure adequate protection for years to come.
Great. And finally, what's your favorite PierPride memory or story?
I have a lot of pier stories. As a former lifeguard, I probably have hundreds, but one of my favorite stories about the pier is when I was a rookie lifeguard in 1983. We were made a rescue off the pier, and diving in off the pier to rescue a woman that after we pulled in, she referred to us as her angels of mercy.
We're here with Trey Tucker, who is going to share with us why he loves the San Clemente Pier. So Trey, tell us, what do you love?
I love how the sun sets over the pier, and that is really beautiful every night, and how the sun sets like right over the pier, so you can see it really beautifully.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
So we're here at the PierPride event, and it's a great opportunity for the community to get involved and give back to the pier that's given us so many good memories. One of the best memories that I like to share with people, and it's not necessarily about me, but it's about my grandfather, who grew up here in San Clemente. He was born at what is now the Rouse Shopping Center, used to be the hospital, and he lived his entire life actually right across the street here from the Casa Romanica. And the stories he used to tell me growing up in Old Town San Clemente were fantastic, and the one that I always stuck with was when the swell would get big, they'd shut down the pier, but all the locals would be able to utilize the pier to run out to the end, jump off the pier, and then body surf in. And so they just do that all day long until they got tired of running out the pier, jumping off and body surfing in, and then they'd come in, they'd have a big bonfire bash on the beach at the end of the night, and yeah, he had some really great experiences. You know, it used to be the Fisherman's Wharf was actually a place where people stored their boats and fishing equipment, and he stored his boat right off the end of the pier here for a really long time, and he had some good stories about sitting on his deck when those swells would pick up and his mooring and his boat would get cut loose, and he'd have to run out to the end of the pier from his house and jump off and catch his boat before it crashed onto the shore or crashed on the pier. So hopefully we have many, many years left of our gorgeous San Clemente Pier, and people can make some more great memories at the pier.
Hi, my name is Liz Coons, Liz Hansen Coons, and the pier means so much to me since I've lived here all my life, and I love it. But one thing I think of is my dad, who grew up in San Clemente in the 20s, and he lived next door to Casa Romanica with his father, who was Ole Hansen's son. And so Ole Hansen was my dad's grandpa, and my dad went to the pier all the time, and he rode his horse on the beach, and he rode his horse to school in San Juan Capistrano, and I think that they loved the beach and the pier.
So you're Jack Miller, right?
My name's Jack Miller.
And I'm Dottie.
This is Dottie. We live in San Clemente, California. We live next door to the Casa Romanica. And we visit the pier 30 years ago. And we walked up and bought a condo next to the Casa Romanica.
And right by the pier, we can look at it.
And the pier, we can look at the pier all the time. We lived in Placentia in Anaheim Hills and moved down to San Clemente.
30 years ago.
February 21st, 2017, it'll be 30 years here at Reef Gate West next door, next to the Casa, and we love
going down the Fisherman's to the
Casa
pier.
Monica and the Pier and the Fisherman's, and we've had Father's Day on the beach next to the Fisherman's, and we've done it all.
Hi, I'm Mickey Rathman, and I'm a 17-year resident of San Clemente. And the pier, it's really the background of everything that we do in the city. I have so many incredible memories of standing on the end with my niece and nephew, sending out messages in a bottle to lands far away, eating lovely and incredible coconut shrimp at the Fisherman's with my auntie and uncle from Australia, and so many pictures. There we are standing looking back at the beautiful village of San Clemente. It's so special to me, and I'm just so thrilled that I get to be part of an organization like PierPride to help restore and maintain a treasure in our community.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma. I intern here at Casa Romantica, and I love coming and actually being able to admire the pier on my lunch breaks. I sit on a little park bench and I get to hear children laughing and get to see people running across the pier every day, so it's really neat because I get to kind of experience their pier stories too. So I'm really proud to be living and working in San Clemente.
My name is Jim Nielsen, and I've lived in San Clemente for about 18 years. My first exposure to the San Clemente Pier was when I was a junior high boy. I came down and spent a week with my uncle fishing, and had a very memorable time. We moved to the town, and I spent a lot of time walking on the beach trail, and had noticed that the pier was looking kind of shabby. So on one of our walks, Lori Donchak and myself started discussing the possibility of forming a group that might raise enough money to augment what the city puts into the pier and clean it up and replace some of the broken things and the termite damage. So that kind of became the beginning of PierPride. We held, I believe, our first meeting in October, and assembled a team of people that have just come an enormous distance in a few months. And our goal is to do some grant writing, build enough of an endowment that we can hopefully go out of business in a couple of years and have money to keep the pier looking its best for future generations.
My name is Larry Culbertson. I'm a former president of the Historical Society. I've lived here in town for 10 years, and the pier is one of my favorite parts of town. I think it's probably the most iconic symbol of the city. And the pier dates to 1927. We're actually on our third pier now. We lost the pier in 1938, and then again 1983. And it's so important that we keep the pier as it is, all wood, unlike the other piers up and down the coast, because it is, as I say, one of the most iconic symbols and important aspect of San Clemente.
I think the pier is really the centerpiece of our city, of our beach, and it's a very important part of our community. I've had many special times at the pier with my family, either walking it or having dinner at the Fisherman Restaurant or taking Christmas card pictures at the pier. And I've had also a lot of time surfing with my friends right at the pier or near it, and it's a really special, kind of special place to be by. And recently, just last Sunday, a good friend of mine passed away recently, and a group of us, about 50 surfers of us, paddled out next to the pier and had a little ceremony and said goodbye to our friend. And it was really special because we could be by the pier and have the rest of his family and friends that could be there and witness it, be a part of it.
Hello everyone, I'm Nikki Blanchard. I grew up here in San Clemente since 1976. Actually saw Nixon in town as a little girl on my paper route at one point. Anyhow, the pier has a very special place in my heart, and it's just been something I grew up with. My grandson is now getting ready with junior guards to jump off next year. He's excited, and my little grandson today, this morning on our beach walk, met a couple of new friends, and I want to show you guys, this is who we're saving the pier for, our generations to come, okay? And I mean, it's just amazing. So thank you everyone, all you're doing for PierPride.
So what does the pier mean to the Alderson family? I will tell you this, the pier means everything. 20 years ago is where I met my wife, San Clemente, blind date. The pier behind us is where she became a Once Upon a Time. 5 years after that, right above the pier, is where she became my happily ever after. I proposed to my wife just south of the Casa Monica with the pier as the backdrop. So like we like to say, if the pier weren't here, we wouldn't be here. Save the pier.
My name is Larry Beard, and I'm a local San Clemente photographer. Been living in San Clemente for about 20 years, but actually I fell in love with San Clemente when I was 18 years old. I used to come down and spend the night on my friend's parents' business, which was the San Clemente Hobby Shop, so we could get a good early surf at the pier. And yeah, so it's actually my passion just to shoot the San Clemente Pier and try to figure out new and unique ways to get a good angle at it. I mean, man, we've seen so many amazing shots, it's hard to come up with something different, but it's fun trying. And you know, the San Clemente Pier holds such a special spot for me. And I feel fortunate that I get to capture it and share it with others.
Michael Cal Pier, and I have a long relationship with the San Clemente Pier. I was actually conceived at the Beachcomber, not sure which room, but it is true. And I used to come down here surfing when I was in high school and college. But the pier story more is about my father. My father used to go fishing. He'd come down from Pasadena, where we lived, and he would fish from the end of the pier. They had a little launch out there, and would come back with a great catch, be gone for a day or so. And so that goes back about, 60 some years. And so I have a real strong connection with the pier, so I was more than happy to be supportive of this effort. It's a great effort, and the pier is such a iconic vision of what San Clemente really is.
I think most of you probably know that Ole Hansen gave the pier to the city of San Clemente, the people of San Clemente, in 1926. And shortly thereafter, he built his home here in 1928, ensuring that he had a view from all the key rooms of that pier. So these two historic structures have been connected for many decades. They become the icons of the city. And the pier itself is something that's become part of the history of the city itself, but also the individual citizens. For the last 90 years, it's been the most beloved place in the city. It takes about $400,000 to $500,000 a year to take care of the pier. And in 2012, we lost the support of the state. We used to have redevelopment funds that helped contribute to the care of the pier. And having lost those funds, a number of us noticed that the pier began to look a little bit tired. And it was difficult to have the pride that we always had walking down the pier, sharing it with our guests. So we decided that something needed to be done to bridge that gap between what the city could do and what the pier needed. So we established PierPride with the support of San Clemente Friends of Beach Park and Rec, and also with the support of the city. And we've begun a quest to make sure that the pier always creates an experience for visitors and residents alike that is memorable and something that will be part of your histories for many years to come.
And it's events like this that, makes the city so impressive. Not a week goes by that something exciting like this doesn't happen, where we don't have the support of the residents and the business community to do great things in this town. And I'm really excited to be a part of it. I think the PierPride group to come together and help us with the pier and maintaining it for the future. As Julia mentioned, we spend about $450,000 annually on maintenance for the pier and keeping it going. And every bit helps. And we look forward to a continued relationship with PierPride and maintaining it.
It has been a pleasure to work here with many donors, many board members these 16 years, to be in this property, which is now our bright and shining jewel, and to be overlooking the pier, which is always a pleasure. I would like to introduce a very special longtime friend of mine, who is Ole Hansen's great-granddaughter. This is Liz Hansen-Cruz.
I want to thank Ruth DeMalt and the board for taking such good care of CASA so the whole community can enjoy it. Thank you, Ruth.
As you can see, we've got a lot of PierPride in San Clemente. If you'd like to dive in and learn more, visit www.pierpride.org or find us on Facebook. It's the place to go. There's even a place to make a donation. Also, and as importantly, we'd love to hear your personal stories or your ideas for improving our beloved pier. Use the website, email us at pierpride.org, or as I mentioned, find us on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, and I'll be seeing you around town.